Hey there, so happy that you found my channel. I'm Lisa, the Love Coach, Lisa Concepcion, and I'm the founder of LoveQuestCoaching.com. I am a certified love coach and I do videos about all different sorts of topics having to do with women and men and society and the struggles that we're having when it comes to finding connections, getting in good, solid, happy, harmonious relationships, and mainly getting connected to ourselves. The number one relationship, the most important relationship that we have, the ones with ourselves. So a couple of months ago, I think it was like in the spring, I did this video about the question, why aren't men asking women out anymore? And I got into this really good discussion in the comments of that video. And someone asked me, and I had this question a few times pop up on social media also, what do high value women expect from beginning to end from a man, from the second they meet to the second that they are full on dating or a couple, right? So that whole process. And he asked me, like, it would be really helpful, Lisa, he said, you're older. I'm 51 at the time of this video. So yes, I have wisdom, and you're engaged, soon to be married. True. So help us understand, help us guys understand. And this video, I will be specific. It's for men who are interested in feminine, wife material women. Very important, because there are men out there who are scrolling looking for hookup culture and, you know, how to, what is it, like I don't even know the names of it. It's like, it's so not in my wheelhouse that I don't even operate in that terminology, like pickup artistry, I think it's called. Anyway, so like if you're looking for that and that kind of stumbled you across to here, this isn't for you. This is for men who are like, I want a girlfriend who can then perhaps become my wife. That type of man, right? Knows what he wants, knows he wants to be a dad someday, knows that he has a path for his life and goals, and wants the right kind of woman with the right kind of values to be a partner through life. So if this is you, then you've come to the right place. I am very, very happy to finally have evolved into what I would describe as a feminine, confident woman who respects and has high regard for men, real men, not these beta boy, bitch boys, but real men, men who take the lead and who have a very clear vision of what it is that they want for their own lives and standards for the type of company that they keep, the kind of woman they want by their side, that. So we must, ladies, because you might be watching this too, I hope you are, we must become the match to the type of men that we want. So if you're looking for a high quality man, the high quality man who are watching, man who may be watching this video, there is a certain elegance, there is a certain level of grace that you must step into in order to be a vibrational attracted match to this type of gentleman, the type of gentleman who would sit and ask the question, Lisa, how do we get those types of women? Those are the types of women that we want. We don't want, these are the men saying this to me, we want wife material women. And that means we don't want a woman who is flashing her body all over social media. Okay, so she's not bending over in provocative positions. She isn't trying to get attention from strangers slipping into her DMs. She's not that. She's working. She has her goals. She has her friends. She has a fun life. She comes from a good family. She has a lot of confidence in herself so that she doesn't need to beg for attention, but she somehow just gets attention. She has solid relationships, healthy girl. She's a catch. And she might be single because she ended something a bunch of years ago and she just wanted some time for herself. Or maybe she's focused on studies, master's degree, getting a business up and running, working on a business, but she still is feminine. She still wants that masculine man to be in her life and someone she could build something spectacular with. Okay, so these are the two people that this video is for. I hope that clears that up. So let's get started in what do you do, man who is watching this video, when you're out and about and you see someone who catches your attention, you know, somebody who's like, wow, that girl's really pretty over there. Like, what do you do? So I am going to share my story of how a year ago, little over a year ago, my now fiance and I met. He is a very high value man. He is a protector, a provider. He is total shit together. Really good guy, solid guy. Very secure in himself, takes no bullshit whatsoever. Is very clear about, you know, what he wants out of his life and who he will give energy and attention to and who he will not. So that being said, we met at a dinner party. So the first tip that I'll give you is go out, right? Don't be so reliant on dating apps. I was not on a dating app. A lot of high quality women don't go on dating apps. One, because they're too busy. And two, they know that their high quality man probably is not on a dating app also. So I didn't bother with dating apps. I just went out in the world having fun with friends and my dog. And anywhere I went, I was in a high vibe. I made sure that I was, you know, doing work on myself and being in check with my own mindset, my own mood, and just having a vibration that was attractive, right? Smiling when I'm out, making eye contact with people, right? This is 2021 at the time. So this was when, you know, people were just starting to kind of come back from COVID. I live in Florida, so COVID was like a very different experience for people here. But anyway, I was invited to a friend's birthday dinner at a restaurant, and I went to it excited to see the girls and hang out. And my now fiance, his name is Mark, was at the table. And it was a big table for 12. I was on one side, he was on the other. And I went around the table and introduced myself to everybody. So ladies, if you're watching this, manners are always something that high value men look for in women. So you want to make sure you get your manners on check when you walk into a place and you don't know anybody. Introduce yourself. So I did that. I went around the table. Hi, I'm Lisa. Nice to meet you. I'm Jennifer's friend from Miami. Good to see you. And then I went and sat down by birthday girl, and that was it. And I was delicious food, a fun conversation, whatever. It wasn't until after the dinner finished where we all got up from the table and we started to just be social and interact by a bar section. So that was when I was talking to a group of girls and Mark appeared. We were talking about Sebastian Maniscalco, and Mark just kind of was there and like appeared in the conversation. And he said something about Sebastian that was cracked me up because I love, it's like one of my favorite comedians. So we started to just be laughing and playful about that. So that's the tip for guys. Make a girl laugh. Figure out a way to interject into a conversation in a way that's fun and that they're going to want to know who you are, right? So here I am speaking to this other girl. There's two of us, me and her. And then he just kind of appears, and I think he said hello to her. And then I was just over here talking to somebody this way, and I heard him laughing, and I said, oh my God, Sebastian Maniscalco, it's hysterical. Did you see his show and this and that? And we started to instantly connect. So number one, put yourself out there. Put yourself in places where you can meet people and you can talk. Now, this was just a thing that we had in common, right? But I know that if I stood there and he was there, that we would end up talking about anything because it was just the way it was going. So the other tip that I'll give you is to be mindful of energy. Everything is energy. So you could read people. These are the things that I teach people that I coach, right? Know how to have a reading of energy when you're at a party, when you're in a public place, when you just be conscious about what is going on around you, the world you're in, who's around you, right? I often say to people, you can meet people anywhere at any time. When you have an open energy and you're ready to receive the love that God has for you, the person that God has for you, and you're ready to receive that person, and you leave your home with an open energy, which is what I had always at that party. And beyond that, I would go food shopping with a very open, ready to receive type of energy. It's a very feminine energy. And I would always meet fun people. There would always be men offering to help me with carrying my big box to the car and doing what, and I was always so welcoming. I felt so protected and so like, wow, like men would just be so kind to help me out. And I just was always like appreciative, always in a state of appreciation. And so ladies, I encourage you to live in the world with a lens that says that men are here to protect me and to care for me and to be nice to me and cherish me and adore me. And when you believe that, you start to exist in a world that way, and you're not going to be in this camp of women who presume the worst about men, that they are dominating, that they were gonna cause them any harm, or these are things that were perpetuated in the media and programming and conditioning that has happened with women for the past probably 50 years. So getting back to it, now we meet and we start talking. He made me laugh. We hit it off. 1 hour of talking turns into, 3. And it's time for me to go. And at one point, I wanted him to understand that I was interested, because I had made it clear that I had recently broken up with somebody and I was taking time to be single and just kind of getting my bearings again, and that it was going to be fun. It was going to be summer of Lisa. And he took that to mean that I wasn't available. So I recognized that in how he was standing by me and how he was being towards me, that it was like kind of a very boundaried vibe. So I asked the question to make it clear that I was interested, right? I said, let me ask you this. Is there anyone that you can think of, female, in your life, who, if she walked in here and saw us talking like this, that she would be offended, or that it would impact her in some way? And that was like when he was like, oh, she's interested in me. So that completely changed the whole dynamic of the vibe, right? So at times, ladies, this is a tip for you. You need to be clear that you're interested in a guy. They are waiting for you to give the green light. They are very respectful, especially masculine gentlemen, high value masculine gentlemen. They're oftentimes very respectful. They're not going to hit you with some sexual innuendo. They're not going to be out of place or inappropriate with things that they might say to you, because they are picking up on your feminine energy, that you're a lady and that, you're just out for some fun and you're not carrying yourself in a way that's over the top, wild party girl crazy, right? And so those types of men, they are drawn to that easy energy, that laid back kind of like, I'm open to meeting anybody, and yet I can be fully confident in being quiet when someone says something that isn't appropriate. I don't need to lecture them. I don't need to jump down their throat. I could just do that and smile, and they can get the hint and they can adjust. And that's power. That's feminine power, when you don't have to, not saying that you let people roll over you and you acquiesce to any, childish immaturity, inappropriateness. But on the other hand, there's no need to belittle or emasculate a man for cracking a joke that might be a little off color, something that you just are like, you can even make that face. You could be like, like, I don't know about that, without it being this confrontation. So we had this beautiful conversation, and at the end of the evening I had to leave, and I said, I must leave you now. I have a little dog who needs my attention. But it was such a delight meeting you and talking with you. And he said, yeah, I'll walk you out. And he walked me outside of the restaurant to the valet. He paid for my valet. He made sure that I was like put in my car. He put me in my car. He stood there and he said, let me know that you got home okay, all right? Text me. And we had exchanged numbers. So I said, okay. So now I have to tell my friend Jennifer that I'm okay and you that I'm okay. All right. So I put my glasses on and I looked at him and waved with my dorky glasses. I could drive home at night. And I left. And I got home and I texted him, said, thank you so much for such a fun night. It was great meeting you. And then I walked my dog and I went to bed. Now, the very next day, so this is another tip for you guys, take time out of the equation. I'm going to give you the text message that Mark sent me the morning after we met. Okay. And it was around 11 a.m. that this text came through. I had been up already. I was, doing Saturday morning stuff around my house. I think I even worked out a little. And this text came through and it said this. Hi, Lisa. So it was great meeting you too. And I know that modern dating comes with a lot of rules and games, and I'm not having any of that. I found you to be really interesting, and I'd love to know what your availability is like because I'd like to take you to dinner. So let's just break up that little text. He first greeted me with appreciation of meeting me. That was number one. Number two, he laid it down of how this is gonna roll. He doesn't play games. He's not into any, I'm gonna wait 3 days to text this girl. He is on it. On it. Saw something I liked. I want it. It's mine. I'm getting it. Right? Same. Like when I went to the store and I was like, hi, can I have these in a size 7, please? Thank you. And like, it's done. It's mine. I'm getting it. That me right now. So that is for feminine women. Like I must have stood there and reread that message like 4 times by the time I replied, right? I was like, oh my God, I like this. Ooh, I like that. Like, yeah, it was nice meeting you. And I'm not going to sit here and wait 3 days because some rule and some games and some BS. Like, you're a woman I want to get to know. What is your schedule? So I can take you to dinner. Not let's hang out. Hey, it was great to meet you, or cracking some joke. No, it was on. So my tip to you guys watching this, if this woman that you are talking with is interesting to you enough that you already know, I want to have one-on-one time with this woman, then you need to make that one-on-one time happen as a man, not as a little boy. Not as, oh, why don't you come over and let's watch a movie? No, that is not a date. That is not a date. That is maybe something you do maybe the 4th time hanging out, right? It is seeing one another outside of your respective homes. And it doesn't have to always be dinner or drinks or whatever. It could be other things. You could be like, hey, I'm going for a hike. Do you want to come with me? I'm going to go walking. Some women won't really like that because they're like, oh, I'm going to get all sweaty. I don't want to. That could be a sign if she's the right woman for you or not. If you're into like outdoors, and you want your person to be into the outdoors, and she's like, no, I'm not gonna do that, I'm getting my lashes done, right? Or some bullshit shit. So you know if she's for you or not, right? So these are things that you should look out for. So he knew that I was someone that he wanted to get to know better. So he made that happen by saying, what is your schedule like for this week? I'd like to take you to dinner. So I said, and now here's the tip for the ladies, I responded, I like your style, ... winky face, showing I'm playful, I like how he's coming at me. And I looked at my schedule and I said, ooh, I really want to see him again. And the only time that I can is either Wednesday or Friday. And I said, well, I can go out tonight. I don't have anything going on. I'm doing laundry. I'm kind of just, it's Sunday. Like, I can be available. So I was honest, confident, feminine. I said to him, I like your style, ... winky face. I looked at my schedule and I am available Wednesday or Friday. But if you don't want to wait that long, I can be available this evening at 6. And so what did he do? He canceled a date that he had for that night at 6 so that he could take me out, and moved that date to Monday. And I'll have more information on that in a second. And so we were able to go out again. And so we met at a steakhouse. We sat at the bar and we were side by side. Big tip. Definitely sit at the bar. It is way better from a nonverbal communication standpoint when you're sitting together side by side at the bar. Your knee can touch, you can laugh and touch his arm. You could, here, eat this. This is so good. Try a piece. There's a lot of, you make like a bubble almost. The whole restaurant's going on, but you together are just like in this little bubble. And if there's an impulse to kiss each other, that could happen. It did not then with us. We were just, talking and going deeper into getting to know each other. And that was the time to have a broader conversation about ourselves and what we want out of life and the bigger picture and the things that are of value to us. So don't be afraid to have certain key questions that are open-ended. And these are the things that I teach people that I coach, how to have these conversations. I used to do public relations and marketing. So I have 23 years of that whole world, understanding how to communicate to the media. And I used to train celebrities to endorse products and stuff and do it in a way that was very fluid and conversational. So I apply a lot of those skills and techniques into teaching people how to converse on dates so that the other person is encouraged and inspired to open up and to share more about who they really are, and how to keep that conversation going, and the things to ask to elicit a certain kind of, not a certain kind of response, but to encourage the person to be more open and almost an atmosphere of neutrality, non-judgment, just, asking certain questions. So I'll put the blog that I wrote about all of this in the comment section. It's a blog that I did called 20 Great Questions to Ask on a Date. And I have a few videos about that as well, but I'll be sure to put that in the comments below. And that was pretty much it. I mean, we had a great first date. First date turned into the second date the third date, and he asked me out for the second date before the first date ended. That is another great tip. If you're with a woman and you really think she's high value and it's like, oh my God, this woman is it for me, I want to see her again, then he remembered. He said, wait, you said that you were available Wednesday and Friday also. So he said, well, can I claim both those days? And I was like, well, what do you have in mind? And he said, well, Wednesday, baseball game. I was like, I could get into a baseball game. And then Friday, he said, I have a cocktail party to go to or whatever, and we could dress up for that. I was like, cool, one casual date, one dress up date. I love it. I'm in. And that was it. So that first whole week, we were chatting back and forth. I did a phone date with him, and I did it the following night when he had that date with that other person. And I asked him in the middle of the day when we were texting back and forth, funny memes and funny things just going back and forth. I said, hey, would you like to do a phone date with me tonight on video? We could do like a video chat. And he's like, yeah, that'd be amazing. That'd be great. What time? And I said, well, how about 8:30? And he said, done. So he went out on another date because he's a man of his word, and he had changed the date to this other thing. And he was like, all right, let's just go on this date. I told this girl we were going to go out. He went out, and he said like the date was like an hour and 3 minutes. He's like, I went in there and I was out because I wanted to talk to you and do a phone date. And as that first week progressed and we were having more time getting to know each other more, I was very clear about, how my dating style was and what I was choosing to behave like, because I was interested in a husband. I wanted to attract my husband. I was dating to attract my husband. So I had to conduct myself in a certain way that was aligned with that. And he respected it and he understood it. And we had a beautiful courtship. He knew that, I was open to falling in love and that trust had to be built. And he kind of knew like, this is the woman for me 100%, but she needs time. So, it appears like it was fast, but the amount of quality time that we both put in the relationship in those first 3 to 4 months was incredible. We talked all the time. We saw each other on video. We were with each other every weekend. We really were two people looking for something serious, and we behaved as such. There were no games about exclusivity and all of this. There was one conversation about 3 weeks in where I had plans with friends of mine prior to us meeting. So these plans were already in play, and I had given my word, and I was going to Marco Island and Fort Myers in Florida to see a friend of mine that I went to junior high school with. Anyway, he wanted to be sure. He wanted to have clarity. So he called me up and he said, hey, I have a question for you. When you're out later with your friends, and if, some man comes up to you and approaches you and he asks you, what is your status? What is your situation? What do you say? And I was like, good question. I'm like, I would say that I'm seeing somebody. And so Mark said, oh, you're seeing somebody. And I'd say, well, why? What would you say if the same situation was reversed? And he says, well, I would say that I'm with somebody. And I was like, oh. He goes, do you see the difference? And I was like, I guess so. Yeah, like if I'm seeing somebody, he's like, that means you're seeing other people too. And I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that. And then he said, okay, and if you're with somebody, it means that you both are only seeing each other. And I said, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I guess you're right. I'm with somebody. I'm like, wow, I'm really happy that we had this conversation. And here's the thing. I never wanted to be the one to bring that conversation up. I had made a decision based on my prior relationships that I said, you know what? I'm not having that conversation with people. I'm going to let my actions show that I am aligned with my words, which is I don't date multiple people. I'd rather give one person full focus. And then in like 2 or 3 dates, if I'm not feeling it, I'm moving on. Right? I'm very efficient. I know what I want. I know what I'm looking for. And I'm not here to waste anybody's time, mainly mine. So dating from that perspective is very confident and it's very open and honest. So I didn't have the need to say like, so what are we doing? What does this mean? Like, no, I'm not doing that. I was like, you know what? I've done that in my life, and all that does is it's very masculine, and I want to not be that in relationships anymore. So I said, I'm gonna slide into my feminine energy, my feminine space of self vibe, and I'm just gonna, roll with that. And that is what inspired that discussion. So he checked in on me as I was getting my stuff together to take the drive down to my friend's house where we were going to be on a boat and just, seeing a band and whatever. And he, in his mind, is like, yeah, I have to have this conversation with her. And because he's a man of value, he could easily go out that night with his guy friends and meet women. He's doing it for both. He's like, I want to be with you, but if that's not how you're rolling, I want to know because I can do my thing too. So there was a very high value masculine, way that he came at it. And I was honest about it where I was. So I hope that in this time together that this was of value to you. And if you have any additional questions, you can connect with me directly. You can go over to lovequestcoaching.com. That's my website. There you will find a free love life assessment. I'm putting links to all this stuff in the description below. And I hope this served you well. And if you like my content, check out my other videos, and definitely hit the subscription and the little dingy bell thing so when this party starts, and you get a notification to be invited to the party. I'm Lisa Concepcion. Let's see what else. Oh, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Lisa the Love Coach. So check you out there. Bye. Thanks so much.